what does it mean to be a godly husband? Like, how can we possibly love our wives for the rest of our lives? Let's get our Bibles and let's get started. So hi guys, thank you for joining me back here on the channel. I'm here with my lovely wife Sakili. She has got a brand new channel. Yay! It is gonna be awesome, guys. She's gonna be talking about, what are you gonna be talking about? Like graphic design and that?
Yeah, graphic design. So art. I'm gonna go into like my day-to-day as a graphic designer, as an artist. Some of my past projects, present and future, tutorials, speed drawings, the works pretty much. Gonna just like have it all up on the channel, talk about it, give tips, and that's starting today.
Yeah, I'll just go and check it out, guys. This is gonna be so big. I've been so excited about this for so long, and I just want to present my wife. She's so talented. She's always been like so amazing. She's getting shy now. She's coming away, but I love her so much. She's amazing. We've been married for almost 5 years now. That is why we think we can handle the topic that we have to handle today. And today we're coming at the husbands, right? We're coming at the husbands. Like, the husbands that are there, and we need to know how we can love our wives. So let's just start in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25 to 33, and this is probably the biggest place that you can see how you can be a husband. So let's go. Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. So what does that mean? What are we saying here? Give himself up for her? I guess that's like when Christ kind of like gave himself up for us, you know, when he saved us. And just the magnitude of that is very heavy. And as a husband, I think it is a very heavy task that we shouldn't take lightly. It says, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound, and I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. So this is just getting really deep right now. I mean, like, we look at some of the wife things, but when we look at the husband things, it seems crazy to compare the husband to Christ, because I mean, Christ is God. He is the one. He is all forgiving and all knowing, and really I'm not, you know, like, I'm not perfect. And that's one of the things that we have to remember as husbands, is that although all of this stuff is there, is that we can't be perfect, but we're striving towards these things. We're striving towards lifting our wife up, just like I'm doing in this video with a brand new channel that you guys gotta subscribe to today, and subscribe to me too, because don't forget about me. So yeah, I feel like that's a challenging, but that's something that is definitely possible if you work together, if you talk together, and if you see what we can do together.
If you guys can turn to 1 Peter chapter 3, and we're gonna look at verse 7. So it says, likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as a weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered.
Wow. So I looked at this before on the channel, right? Like, prayers being hindered. that's a big thing. Like,
you husbands have it tough.
yeah, we really do. I mean,
yeah, that's like intense. I mean, the first verses you read in Ephesians, I was like, that's a lot. Like the comparison to Christ and the church, guys, and then to also think about like loving like your own body. It's like so sacrificial. It's an intense way, and I'm not sure it's like the way that everyone like the world approaches love. I mean, like what can you give me and I give you? It's like a bit like a transaction. It can be like, it's like, well, we make each other happy. I get something from you, you get something from me. When that stops, it's like, well, cut them out. Toxic. This, like, get all that out of there. Don't associate at all. And that was very different. And then this, like, the idea of God hindering your prayers.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and like
it's a bit crazy. I feel like it's like it's not a feeling. Love is a feeling, but it's also a doing work, right? That's what we're seeing, and that's where it can get tricky. I mean, firstly, understanding a woman, that's hard by itself. I mean, like that can be tricky, but just that by itself can be very hard. But then on top of that, you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to have a tender and loving heart and be humble, and it's really tricky. It's really hard. But you can do it, you can really do it. And we've been doing it here, and I've been trying to do it for 4 years now, almost on 5. And
when is it 5 years?
You put me on the spot. Oh no, guys, I'm on the spot here. All right, September the 6th, 20. No, September the 4th, right? Oh my days!
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay, guys. So he just failed. Here. So I don't know about all that.
Oh my day! Wait, when is it?
September the 4th, 2015.
That's exactly what I meant. September the 4th, 2015. That is when we got married.
Yeah.
And it's been 4 years now. And
why don't you guys give him some encouragement in the comments? A couple of lights. He's sweating now. He looks a little uncomfortable now, but
This is bad. So guys, you see guys that we do make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes sometimes. And knowing that when you're going through this, you can have a laugh about it and you deal with it together. We're dealing with things together. I forgot, but she remembered. And that's why we have to just take notice of our wife. We have to look at our wife. We have to understand what she's saying. And we have to really remember that her voice matters. What she says matters. And in order to understand your wife and put her first, you have to be able to understand her and know what she's talking about and remember stuff like when you got married.
I mean, off of what you just said too, it does make me think of about the not needing to be perfect thing. Because Jesus knew the church. He walked on the earth with people, and he met people that were trying to follow God, like the Pharisees, in a way that he corrected them. He met people that were sinning against God. He met them, he knew us and knew us as sinners, and he still loved us, and he still offered himself up for us. Even people that had actively been involved in killing him. So it's God knows how we are as people. He sees our hearts. So I don't think it's really when it talks about what husbands need to do, I don't think it's and God expects us to be perfect. We all fall short of the glory.
Yeah.
But this trying and following God's construct for marriage and just endeavoring towards that all the time, that's what he wants of us. And I think that's where it comes to, not just putting all this burden on yourself, but just understand what God he gives some tough illustrations of what he wants from the husbands and the wives. But in these verses we're looking at husbands right now. Do everything with God's help. It's not he expects us to do anything without it.
Yeah, that's so true. It just takes so much pressure for me to hear my wife say that, and we want to have a wife that can say those things and realize that those things about their husband, because being a husband means that you're choosing. Firstly, we saw before that you're leaving your mother and your father. That's a big thing. And for me, being an only child, leaving my mother and father, that's a big thing, and that could be a big thing to some of you out there. But we're choosing, when we say we're going to be a husband, we're choosing to love this person for the rest of our lives, regardless of what happens, how it happens, when it happens, like any sort of thing. Like, we just choose to love each other. And I mean, that is a great privilege to have as a husband, because different things can happen in life. You're not just thinking about 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. You're thinking about 5 years. You're thinking about 10 years, 20 years, and things change, right?
Yeah.
You go through different stages in life where, you're in different homes and different places and education and different jobs and different mentalities and feelings. So we have to remember that as husbands, we're choosing to just love our wives regardless of any of those things. And like, I have the great privilege of loving this beautiful woman, this amazing woman for the rest of my life. I'm embarrassing her again. But this is what we have chosen as husbands. We need to take that very seriously.
I mean, I agree with what you were saying. Like, we met when I was like 18 going on 19.
Yep.
Jamal was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's just it. I was like, I kind of just moved out of home, and I went back to England at that point. I was in America before. Like, I was like finding myself as a person, like as like an adult. And I was like trying to figure things out, and I was like far from perfect and further from the church and God at that point too. And it's kind of like a lot has changed from then to now as a 26-year-old. That's the thing. It's not just about like the first dates in year one, and like a lot will change. I think thinking any other is like you're setting yourself up for a disappointment. Like, if you're going to marriage, you're not going for like a holiday, a 6-week or a 6-week trip or something like that. Like, you gotta know it's a lifetime, and things change over a lifetime. A lot of things do.
Yeah.
So like, I really do resonate with what you were saying about it's not just thinking about year one and certain little milestones. It's like going into the unknown together and being willing to stand with each other and support each other, not knowing what that will bring. Like, there's some tough things. There's some great things. There's been some tough things that came into our marriage, into our lives that we didn't foresee. Like, you can't foresee that when you're just like in the early stages where it's all like just new and fun. And you gotta like, that's a real commitment, that commitment to a spouse, knowing that all this stuff can happen. And that takes more than just feeling it. It really does take action, I would say. It really takes like that willingness to, like, the vows and oaths that you make in front of God, you gotta mean it. And you also need to know what it means, God. I think you need to understand, like, and like, we learned some of this in like premarital counseling and all this stuff. And
Yep, you have to do premarital counseling. Don't matter what stage you're at, you have to. It's so important,
And even like just looking back, like, it tells like God constructed marriage. So he knows exactly what to tell us about like what we should be endeavoring towards.
Yep.
And it's like, this is an important thing to keep in mind, like,
Yeah, so what did we learn today? We learned that the most important thing that we can do to love our wives is to understand them, to know them, to realize that love is a doing word. It's not just a feeling word, and this is something that you're going to do throughout a long duration of time, not a short duration of time. So we're thinking about any in which way that our wives can change. We have dedicated our lives and we have chosen to love this person. And it just helps when you have such an amazing wife like I have here. I mean, it's just really not hard when you have someone here that is just so amazing and talented and has her own YouTube channel that that I keep telling you to go in the description and look at. So yeah, so I thank you guys for watching this video. I love that I have my wonderful wife here. We don't know when we're gonna see her again. We may see her in the live stream, who knows. I may be able to get her to come on and talk more about our lives as married couples. We might see.
Tell you what, alright? You guys, if I see it in the comments and, you know, maybe I could be convinced, come back on. I'm not like a camera lover, but if you guys love us being on camera together, you want to hear more, like, I may be.
Yeah, comment down there below and hit that subscribe button. And thank you for joining here. And let's continue to explore our unknown years.